We had the chance to visit with 15th District Congressman John Shimkus, and he's on his way to Charleston for a couple of events, but was nice enough to stop by and visit with us for a few minutes. Are you used now to being the 15th District Congressman?
It's like when you have to write checks the new year. No, I catch myself, but the 15th it is.
All a part of redistricting. How much is that going to affect Illinois, that we have one less congressman to represent us?
Illinois is still a big state, so I think putting on my conservative hat, redistricting took out a lot of Republicans. So I think the policies in Washington, the votes cast will be more of a liberal bent because of the redistricting process. But as far as power and the ability of us to work together on issues that aren't ideological for Illinois, I think it's very similar.
It's affected you geographically too, because your district obviously is larger and reconfigured more north to south. Is that accurate?
That is accurate. Effingham and the county being the center, the center point. So if you had a protractor and put it on Effingham and kind of drew it around, I think it would cover, in essence, most of the district. So crossroads of America is going to be the crossroads of the 15th district, which is not a bad place.
I agree. I agree. And you're going to have a legislative office here, which is nice for us, we think.
And I appreciate the local government for allowing us to use some facilities, and we'll have someone here full time. We're struggling like everyone else is now with sequestration, continuing resolution, debt limit on really what will we have as a funding mechanism to do our operation. And we don't even know yet, so I've asked, we got to do some more analysis, and we will have someone here full time, but I'd rather have someone and a half, so that they can then travel the district instead of having to keep the doors open. But that means you can't get to the surrounding communities. You can, but it's less.
Yeah.
If you're going to have an office, you want to have the public to have access to it.
So you're going to be at Effingham, and where are your other locations?
Well, Harrisburg, I've had one there for 10 years. We're going to have one up in Danville. Danville is my largest community now. And then the one we moved the Collinsville office to Maryville, which is just kind of north of Collinsville. And we were able to keep some of our folks on staff who were doing a good job for us there. So the bulk of the district staff, from Steve, who does press, to veterans issues and stuff, they're still located there.
Okay, we're talking with Congressman John Shimkus. You mentioned sequestration because you're thinking about budget matters. I'm thinking about sequestration for a different issue, and it's an issue for southeastern Illinois, particularly all the fracking issues. This is really gaining a lot of traction. I know state legislators are really intrigued by that because they see that as maybe an economic boost for our region, particularly at us in south and east. What are you taking on that?
Oh, it's wonderful. I mean, we've been fracking really for 100 years. If you understand the oil fields of West Texas. Now, technology's advanced, so now you have horizontal ability to kind of drill down and then go sideways, and then frack these things to get oil, to get natural gas. It really is the best opportunity to become energy independent. Since there's a lot of science and research on this over 100 years, I think it's really, really safe. There is an environmental movement that says it's not. States have that authority to do that, and every state, as you would know, geology is different. So one federal policy does not work for the Marcellus Shale in New York or Pennsylvania or here. That's why it's very important for the state to keep control of that process. The state's going to be concerned about the health and welfare of their citizens. So what I try to do in Washington is, I deal with this issue a lot, public policy-wise, is make sure that the states are doing their due diligence, but keep the federal government out of trying to impose a set of standards which may not comply with the geology of an individual state.
Congressman's on the Energy Committee, so he loves this issue, but I know it's one that's been discussed a lot. Where are we as far as energy independence? Is it a dream, or is it something that really can't happen?
With this fracking and natural gas, some of the pipelines now are being shifted, and there's permits being offered for some of these LNG facilities, liquefied natural gas, that we used to have to bring in natural gas in liquefied form and then transform it and put it in pipes. Now the request is let's retrofit these LNG facilities so we can start exporting. So that tells you this is a real deal, and that you know, we could be on our way to be energy independent, which who would have ever thought?
Yeah, that's an exciting prospect. One that's not so exciting is the lack of dialogue and the amount of discord in Washington. It distresses me. I know it distresses you, because while you're conservative, you're not conservative like some people view conservative. It's almost like you've got to stake a claim on something, or else you're a really bad person. And it's unfortunate that it's gotten to that.
Well, remember the people ask me, why do you guys keep fighting? And I said, we got 16 trillion reasons. You know, I think if people really understood our fiscal position, we're going to have do we raise the debt limit? Well, and I'm trying to wrap my arm around this because we've done it before. Both sides have voted yes, both sides have voted no, regardless. But when you maxed out your credit card, do you take out another one? That's really the debate. And I don't think the public's really going to be able to look at our balance and income statement until crisis comes. When the universities start getting less money from us, when the public health departments start getting less money for us, people are going to say, well, why? And we're going to say, you know, if we don't reform the entitlement programs, the legacy cost, or for Illinois, the pension issue, that's going to keep consuming more and more of our regular spending mechanism. You know, a lot of members been at this for a long time. Some are brand new. Some are here, got elected for this fight. Some of us have been trying to fight this fight, but kind of feel a little guilty that we, as long as I've been there, we haven't really affected positively the fiscal position of this country. So the question is the time now. We did dodge a bullet, I think, on the fiscal cliff, and which I supported because it put in the law the Bush tax cuts for 98% Americans, and for small town, small businesses, the death tax, cap gains, dividends, all very good stuff. So now the question is, if they're going to have the next crisis, who gets penalized? You know, at least the taxpayers in this round, we don't think, because we're going to fight this fight on spending, which is where the problem is. We just raised $600 billion with this deal, and that's not enough. So, but there's a lot of people who don't believe that we'll fight the fight on spending, and we're good friends. People across the aisle, like a lot of good friends, going to work with them on a lot of things, but this is the pending issue of our time.
It's getting to be such a situation, and not just Democrat, Republican, but when you look at urban and rural portions of the country, you'll have people in Chicago and in the Northeast and in California, that's pretty much a band of folks that are going to favor things a certain way. And then you have all the people, or most of the people in the heartland, and they're taking a different take on some pretty substantive things, some fundamental faith and family values.
Right.
And are we getting so separated that maybe there isn't an accord possible?
Well, I was on the floor last week and cast a vote for an amendment. And, you know, one of my colleagues, Republicans, kind of was grouchy, you know, we can't do this, we can't do this. And I said, listen, you know, you vote for your district, you know, I'll vote for my district. We'll let the process work itself. He was a newer member, kind of thinking that he alone is going to save the world. And I said, hey, we have to represent our districts. So what we're trying to do is push regular order so that you have bills that emanate in one of the chambers. You then go to conference and try to work out the differences. And the problem we get into is when we get Speaker Boehner or Mitch McConnell and they cut this deal, and then they try to force us to vote a certain way because, okay, this is the deal that the president will sign. Well, the president should get involved in the negotiations when we're doing a conference committee, not before. You know, I was really taken aback with this letter that was sent by Senator Durbin, Senator Reid, Patty Murray, and Schumer that said, President, just bust through the debt limit without legislative authority. We will support you. What does that say if you're a legislator? I can't do my job. it kind of disrupts this separation of power that they are going to accede to president, and that gets people in our area of the country kind of concerned that the legislative branch won't stick up to the executive branch, and they'll just kind of go wherever, and that affects all those different things why we might have a different perspective on life than our friends in urban and suburban areas.
Yeah. So the effort is to continue to work together on as many issues as you can, and when you need to take a stand, you take a stand.
That's right. I'm a subcommittee chairman. I got a new ranking member. The senior Democrat on the subcommittee is new to the committee, so I put a call into him yesterday. I grabbed a couple on the floor on some issues that we think we can work together, things that are important for our part of the world. One was ethanol, renewable fuels. The other one was coal ash, coal issues. And our desire is to get, what can we do working together to establish some great principles and policies before the higher ups kind of screw things up, you know. Not that you've ever seen that before, you know.
No, not me. The one other thing I want to ask you, because I know you need to be on your way, was regarding the financial situation. Now, we averted the fiscal cliff, but now March or February, depending on which issue you're talking about, are we going to have a reenactment? Are we going to have all these dramas every couple of months?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a triple witching hour. I kind of wish they would all fall at the same time, because then the crisis would hit all at once. But you have raising the debt limit, which may be mid-February. You have sequestration, which is the end of March. And then you have the CR end of March. So two of them are at the same time. Now there's a debate, but a lot of my colleagues didn't buy it. It said that kind of was, okay, our best leverage is the CR and sequestration. Let's not play in this raising the debt limit debate. I just don't, I know my colleagues, I've been listening to them in meetings. I just think there's no way that this fight's not going to be fought for the next time that they ask us to raise the debt limit. And we're going to say, it's all about spending. We need significant reforms in the way we spend, or we're not raising the debt limit.
Interesting times. Thanks for the visit.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
15th District Congressman John
That's
Shimkus.
right. That's right.